In their final address, Atiku and the PDP have posed four fundamental questions to be addressed by the tribunal. 1. They urge the court to determine the validity of Tinubu's return in the presidential election, considering the alleged gross violations of the Electoral Act, particularly INEC's failure to upload and transmit the results. Such actions, they argue, could have influenced collation officers at the ward level and affected the accuracy of the results. 2. They seek the court's judgment on the lawfulness of Tinubu's declaration as the winner of the presidential election, as he reportedly did not obtain 25% of the total votes cast in the FCT, as required by law. 3. They want the court to ascertain whether Tinubu's participation in the presidential election was in violation of the Constitution, given the allegations of his criminal forfeiture of narcotics proceeds to U.S. authorities, his declaration of allegiance to another country, and his presentation of a false certificate to INEC. 4. They question whether INEC erred in returning Tinubu when he was not duly elected by the majority of lawful votes cast in the election. Addressing Tinubu's controversies, there seems to be a discrepancy between the reported certificate submission and an exemption letter from the NYSC. Additionally, the mention of someone named Atiku raises questions about his identity. These issues, collectively, have raised concerns about Tinubu's eligibility. Citing the 2017 Supreme Court judgment between Saleh and Abba, where Abba was disqualified for presenting a false certificate to INEC, Atiku's team seeks to emphasize the importance of addressing criminality and certificate forgery to purify the nation's political landscape from reckless impunity. The powerful words of the Honorable Justice who authored the judgment aptly capture the prevailing situation in Nigeria. The Honorable Justices, including those from the appeal courts, must ensure that the waters of justice remain uncontaminated by a culture of reckless impunity. Nigerians seek justice to be served, and they hope that the two Supreme Court justices on the panel involved in these judgments will play a role in the appeal hearing, though the final decision rests with the Chief Justice. Just as the President of the Court of Appeal appointed honorable justices to hear the petition at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, it is essential to maintain impartiality and ensure a fair legal process. Furthermore, Atiku and the PDP's legal team firmly assert their position regarding Tinubu's forged certificate. They call for Tinubu's disqualification, presenting evidence that remains unchallenged by the respondents. The implications of unchallenged evidence mean that the court will consider it when making its decision. Atiku even went as far as subpoenaing INEC to produce Tinubu's particulars that he submitted under oath during his candidacy. This act provides incontrovertible evidence supporting their claims. They highlight that Tinubu's past excuse during his time as governor in Lagos, where he faced similar forgery allegations, won't suffice this time. They point out that Gani Fawahimi's attempt to hold Tinubu accountable for perjury failed due to immunity, but this current case is centered on certificate forgery, not perjury, making it distinct. Regarding Tinubu's educational records, Atiku's team received copies from Chicago State University under subpoena, which significantly differ from the ones Tinubu submitted. They raise questions about why Tinubu is allegedly blocking Atiku's new subpoena in the U.S., arguing that the petitioners have the right to verify the authenticity of the records directly from the university. Additionally, Atiku's legal team addresses the issue of Tinubu's dual nationality. The defendants didn't challenge this claim, only asserting that his Guinean passport had expired, which does not impact his citizenship status. On the matter of Tinubu's victory, despite not scoring the majority of lawful votes, Atiku's star witness remained uncontradicted during cross-examination. The team cites a 1992 Supreme Court judgment between Amadi and Nwosu, emphasizing the principle that when a witness's testimony on a material fact goes unchallenged, it should be accepted as true. Atiku's team expresses disappointment with the respondents, who seemingly failed to present sufficient evidence to counter their claims. They mention the case of the Allied People's Movements, APM, where the respondents misunderstood the relief sought, misinterpreting it as related to Shatima's nomination, while it actually pertains to Tinubu's failure to appoint a new vice presidential candidate within the specified time frame. In regards to the 25% requirement in Abuja, Atiku's legal team made arguments similar to those presented by the Labour Party. They commend Peter Obi's legal team for their effective defense, pointing out that Abuja is not a state, and even Tinubu's legal team acknowledged this fact in their response. However, Atiku's team believes that the opposing side is still in denial about the proper interpretation of the law. They express confidence that the honorable justices will ultimately uphold the legal position on the 25% requirement, as there is no way to evade or escape this issue. Regarding the non-compliance by INEC, Atiku's legal team refers to an important judgment from 2008 involving Enwi Igwe and Emelu Mba's election dispute. This judgment emphasizes that even if non-compliance occurs in only a few places, its significant impact on the overall election result cannot be ignored. Atiku's team praises the fearless and upright jurists of the past, many of whom were appointed during the military regime and demonstrated courage by delivering judgments against the military. They assert that the respondents cannot deceive everyone by claiming that the non-upload of presidential election results did not affect the outcome, as they allegedly collated with hard copies. Atiku's team questions why these hard copies are not presented in court to verify the announced results. They suspect that something is being concealed, and even if the hard copies are stored by INEC, the numbers do not align with the final collated figures. Atiku's team points out that the evidence before the courts includes certified true copies of result sheets from Benue and Rivers states, tendered by the Labour Party, which contradict INEC's announcements. They express concern that INEC has evaded subpoenas and withheld important evidence suggesting a partisan bias towards protecting the interest of the APC. They emphasize that INEC's role should be that of a neutral umpire and call for an amendment to the Electoral Act to mandate the deposit of certified true copies of all election materials at respective election petition tribunals to ensure transparency and prevent future disputes. In summary, Atiku's legal team believes that the declaration of the winner is only the first step, and the final appeal will truly determine the outcome of the election. They stress the need for increased trust and transparency in the electoral process, advocating for the removal of INEC's power of declaration and return of candidates, leaving the judiciary to affirm election results.